Okay, so I'll start, and as I mentioned, just let me know if you have any questions. Today, I will be discussing just in general what crowdfunding is, the pros and cons, and the benefits of doing a crowdfund campaign online. Is it the right fit for you? Because it might not. And then some tips and tricks that you can use. And then we'll follow with some examples and any questions. I will answer any questions that you will have. So in very simply, crowdfunding online is a way for you to raise fund from more than one investor. So instead of raising a bigger amount from one investor or one fund, you are raising smaller amounts from multiple investors or multiple individuals that you are reaching to online. It's a way that will allow you to reach a lot of people online, to be able to get them engaged in the project or the business that you're working on, and get them to participate by donating and giving you money. Some of the pros and cons of running a crowdfund campaign, and let's start with the good. Of course, you're making money for your project. You're learning who is interested, because this might also be a good way for you to find partners. So you're just putting yourself there, telling people what you're doing, and then see who might be interested and who will be willing to support. And then you build relationships and you gather a database of supporters. So this is a way for you to build that database, to build that list of supporters that you will always be reaching out to. And then it's a really good marketing opportunity. If you prepare correctly and if you do it right, you're doing two things at the same time. You're raising funding, but you're also marketing what you're doing. The cons of it is that people don't usually know that it is time consuming. It takes a lot of time and preparation and during the campaign and even following up after. So it is a lot of work and you need people in your team to help you with that. It is stressful, especially if you keep going back and check how much you raised every day, and it sometimes nothing that day or something. It is stressful, and just you worried that you won't hit your goal. It can be expensive sometimes if you pick the wrong platform that takes a lot of fees from you, from the money that you don't, that you're receiving. So you need to do some check and pick the right platform for you. Sometimes it's worth paying that fee if if the platform will help you with other things, then it's worth it. But that is part of the research that we will talk about later. And sometimes it's a reputational risk because you put yourself there, you're asking for money, you share everything, and then if you don't raise the amount you're asking for, it might sound like, yeah, people are not interested or you're not doing that well. So that's something that people worried about, is that they only want to do it if they guarantee it will be successful. And that's sometimes something different for people to do. So what are some of the benefits of running a successful crowdfund campaign? Reach. So you will reach new people because you put yourself there on a platform. I think hundreds and millions of people that visit that will review your campaign. So you will reach new people, and a lot of them might get interested, and a lot of them might even end up being bigger investor or even a partner. So this is one of the great benefits of it. And as I mentioned previously, it's a great PR and marketing campaign. If you do it right, then you use this as an opportunity to market yourself on all different social media platforms, reach to bloggers, reach to influencers, community members, tell them about what you're doing using your campaign. It will help you be able to look to what you're doing from outside the box. So look at the bigger picture and see exactly how to be able to present your project or business in a way that tells a story. What you're doing, the impact of your doing, who are you doing it for? So it helps you prepare for that and be able to better present your business. And then if you're still new and you are looking for validation and just want to know if what you're doing is actually what people are interested in or solving a problem, sometimes a crowdfund campaign is a way to validate that and see if this is the right way to do it. Maybe you're solving the right problem, but not in the right way. So you need to change your way or change your method or pivot a little bit. So that might be one way to do it. And then if you do it correctly, again, it's efficient because you're doing more than one thing at the same time. You're fundraising, you're marketing, you're building your business, all by doing this one thing. But at the same time, 9 out of 10 campaigns fail. And there's a reason for that. And the main reason for campaigns that fail is that they don't prepare. They think it's easy. They just build their page on any platform and they run with it, and suddenly nothing happened. And that the main reason, and if you go to any of those platforms and just look, research and look and see who succeeded and raised more than what they asked for and those who didn't, and you will find a common theme between them: the preparation. You'll find that those prepared really well developed content, including videos and a lot of photos and infographics, while the others didn't do that. It's just put their information up there. So one thing that help you really prepare and have a successful campaign is at least get 30% of your funding goal granted before from your community members, supporters. Prepare. So get people to tell you that they will donate this amount and promise that in advance, because now when you launch, you know that at least this will be guaranteed and this will be hit. Then you need to start building your mailing list, even if crowdfunding is not something that you're planning to do very soon. Just build that list because it will come handy sometime and you will always gonna need it. Even if you're doing smaller campaigns or bigger campaigns, building your supporters list is something that you need to start working on if you're not already doing so. And then everyone needs a social media presence because maybe, and we mentioned later, a lot of the social media platforms started to help with fundraising as well. So let's say you want to start a Facebook fundraising campaign for a small thing that you're doing, but you don't have that good either personal or business page that you can use to share. So building that personal and business presence for your nonprofit or for your business is very important. So keep building into that because it does take time to build your social media presence. And then press releases helps a lot. So if you know someone who promised to help, a blogger, uh, local news uh, local news outlet, or anyone who might be interested, prepare that for them and let them know what you're doing. Because if you get 1 or 2 press releases, that also helps a lot and gets attention to what you're trying to do. So what platforms are there? And we keep adding to this. Every day there's a new platform. They keep changing the way they are doing it. They keep adding to it. So there's a lot of platforms. And sometimes this is one of the things that gets you confused is which one do I pick? And the easiest thing to do is get a list, go into those platforms and see if you see someone that looks like you on there. Anyone with a similar project successfully presented in that platform. That might be one way to know that, yes, maybe this is the platform. And then look into their guidelines, see if they allow nonprofit or mission driven projects to be presented, because some of them don't. So check that and then see how much they charge you and be able to compare that and see how difficult it's going to be for you to prepare your page and your campaign on using their platform. So there's a lot. And some of the things that you can quickly find when you just simply go research is that you'll know that GoFundMe now, they launched a new platform that is just for nonprofits that is called GoFundMe Charity. And you'll see that they do have a free version, a free option, and they do have a 3% platform fee. So sometimes it's depending on what you will get with each option that you pick. And then if you go to Kickstarters, for example, you'll see that they are really focusing on creativity. And if the only maybe way that this might be a good place for you to go if you are working on a documentary, for example, or you're working on a book, something artistic. anything that is creativity related, then maybe that is the platform for you. And then there's a new one that Mihai shared with me as well yesterday's classy, and they do have multiple options. One of them is that you can list yourself as a nonprofit and get a demo and see, and they offer not just crowdfunding but so many other options, but then it comes with a price. So if you're able to do it, then maybe that will save you time, but um, you need to know where you want to start. And then, as I mentioned, you might want to start very in a simple way, just test it and see how it's going. And a lot of people are successfully raising money using Facebook nowadays. And one of the ways that you can do that is if you already have a good network, a good um, uh, contacts on Facebook, one way that you can do it is that you can yourself put a donate button on your page that will always allow people and your Facebook contacts to donate. Another way is that if you do have a very strong supporters, at least 10 of them, let's say, let's prepare content and you can reach out to them asking them to fundraise on your behalf. So for example, you see a lot of people raising fund for specific causes during their birthdays. So maybe someone will do that for you and the fund that they will get, and then you will have your supporters fundraise on your behalf. So this is one way to start with smaller projects that you can help you reach your existing supporters. So you don't need to fund new ones. You already have that built in, you have your social media presence and you're ready to do so. It's also going to help you, as mentioned, leverage your existing audience, but also reach out to new people as well. So grow your community on the social media platform you're using. You need to update your profile and page if you're doing this. So you really can't have uh, unprofessional personal profile or even business profile and run a crowdfund campaign or a fundraising Facebook campaign, because people that the first thing that they will do is go check you out and check your business page and nonprofit page, and if nothing there, then they might be worried that you're scamming them or this is not something real. So built into that, and you need to create solid content. Even if you're asking your supporters to do this for you, you need to have the content ready for them because they won't have the time to prepare everything. So you'll just send them everything that they will need to fundraise for you. And then you need to engage people by thanking them personally, showing appreciation, sharing updates all the time that this is where we are and we still need to fundraise this much, and continuous update on the people you're helping as well. People love things like that. Any questions so far? Okay, Mihai, let me know if there's questions. So questions that you will need to ask yourself first, just to see if this is the right fit for you. So the first thing is you want to ask is, are you willing to have all these people part of your project, a part of your business? Like, are you open to more than one investor who are interested in what you're doing? And then can the amount that you want to raise like be realistically raised on a crowdfund campaign? So if you're asking for something between 25 to a 50 for a project, for example, that you're doing, then maybe that is a realistic thing to raise. But if you need $500,000 to start something, then you will need to ask yourself if crowdfunding is the right place realistically to raise that money. So just see if it's something that you can accomplish or raise. And then you need to be ready for daily promotion and monitoring of your campaign. So it's at least 2 to 3 months of pre-preparation, daily following and promoting and monitoring it during the campaign, and then a few weeks of following up after. So do you have that time, and are you able to just focus on this? And then do you have what it takes to stand? So there's thousands and hundreds of thousands of other projects and businesses and nonprofits that are trying to raise money. So how will you stand out? How will people just see, well, if they're scrolling, see your campaign and click and be interested in learning more. And that's all in the content and the material that you prepare. If you get this really good, catchy video that you can start with a picture, an infographic, how big the impact that you're doing, and make it really understand the audience. And as Mihai mentioned, like women are giving more, female are giving more online. One thing that you will need to check when you're picking your platform is their audience. So who comes to those platforms? The age range, the gender, their background, they release that. So if you know that this platform mainly is visited by older people, for example, rather than younger, and this is who you are targeting, then maybe this is the platform for you. But if you're not targeting that group and that you think they might not be interested, then maybe you need to pick another one. So try to find information on who checks each of those platforms, and you'll find percentage, and that might help you pick the right platform for you. And then, are you comfortable being there, open, sharing everything to everyone? So some people will still, haters are there, and some people might share bad comments, for example, and give you a critical feedback or something like that. So are you ready to be out there in public and share what you're doing and be able to reply to those feedbacks and share what you're doing, and uh, just be open to be on those crowdfund campaigns. And then finally, if you do have the timeline, so if, for example, you need the funding um, in just 2 months to be able to run this project, or you won't be able to do that, then you don't have the timeline, because you won't be able to run a successful campaign just within that timeline. So you just need to know if you do have personally and for your business have the time and to prepare and be ready to fully commit to this campaign. So, and then some of the challenges when raising fund through crowdfunding is choosing the right platform. And this happened to me that one of the crowdfund campaign, I was raising fund to be able to provide sanitary napkins for girls in Kenya. And we were doing reusable pads and trying to do a buy one, donate one model. And I started the campaign on Indiegogo, and they allowed me to. And I raised the fund that I wanted to. I wasn't asking for too much, but I hit the goal. And then when it was time for me to get the funding, they told me that Indiegogo is not for social driven projects, and that I need to take my campaign to GoFundMe. And they return all of the money raised to the donors. So that was one way, a proof of choosing the wrong platform, because I think I did it in the time when they were transitioning, so they didn't have that regulations, but now I know. So that was one thing. Then you need to set realistic goals. So you know your supporters, you know how much you need, and it's always good to because you will be sharing how you will be using the fund for. So if it's a specific project, then being realistic on how much the cost will be for running that project and sharing that will just make people feel that you are honest, that there's a plan, and that's how you're using the fund for. But you can't ask for $500,000 for a class, for example, that you want to run for 20 students. That's not realistic. So you need to be realistic there, and then you need to stand out. And this is one of the really toughest things to do, and I recommend that you actually go there and check a lot of the successful campaigns and just see what they are doing, see the common thing, and learn what you will need to prepare, because you will see that they will have a lot of visual content, videos, pictures, infographics, rather than just written content. And that sometimes takes time. If you don't have it, takes time for you to prepare. So this is one of the things that will help you stand out. And then you will miss the experience or the expertise of the startup investors. And this is maybe more for startups rather than nonprofits, but that is a different path that you will miss. You will miss the journey of learning or getting into a startup accelerator or an incubator if you go crowdfunding. And maybe it could follow but you'll miss it at least at the beginning. And then it's going to take some time of executing your project. And then following that, you need to stay. Let's say if this is something that you really want to, you successfully raise the money you want and you want to keep doing this going forward, then you need to deliver. You promise that you will use this funding to do this project. Then the second time you run a campaign, you need to show that previously we raised this much and we used it to do this, and you can show proof that it was used. So now you have an advantage, and people credibility, and people will see that yes, you used it, and the money they gave was really well spent, and they more likely will give you again. And then it's a lot of customer service. And here, this depends that you'll need to keep reaching out to people, thanking them when they donate, sending updates every week, telling them how are you doing, and share new content in each update. People will follow asking questions. Even if someone share a back feedback, you need to be smart on how you respond and don't get it personal. So it's a lot of customer service that you need to keep an eye on and see what people are doing and how they are sharing your campaign. And then this is one of the things that happened to one of our campaigns that we run is sometimes, let's say people get interested and you get viral, like a lot of people are sharing and there's a momentum happening and you raise the fund very quickly. So let's say you're asking for $25,000 and you raise them in just 1 week. So that means that there is a momentum. People are really excited about what you're doing. So one thing that we'll share later and I recommend is you always have a second goal. So let's say your first goal was a course or a class for 20 students that will cost you this much to teach them something. Then you hit that goal. So what you can't just stop right now. People are excited. It's the time for you to do something else. Then you can say, and if we raise an additional $25,000, then we will be able to help more children or even add an additional class or expand to a new community. So be prepared that you might hit your goal very quickly and you still have time to raise more. So what will be your other plan, your second goal and the third goal? And this is what happened when we were raising for our accelerator program, is that we hit our goal in just 1 week because we went viral. So now what, we had to have the second goal and the third goal, and we hit the three of them. And we even reached, I think, 6 times more what we wanted initially. So that's how you keep it. You need to be prepared. And then you need to understand what the audience want. And the audience here are the people that comes to that platform. So if you're using Facebook, then it's going to be your network and your friends and supporters. But if you're using one of those platforms, then you need to check their audience. Who are there and what exactly they prefer? Are they visited more by women, by men, by youngers, by older, from the US, internationally? So just see the audience there. And depending on that how your message should be directed. And then some tips that will help you is videos are really important. So you can explain what you're doing in a lot of words, but 30-second to a 1 minute video of what you're doing and the impact and the people you're helping is everything, and it really makes a lot of difference. And then you are telling a story, so your campaign should still tell your story, why you're doing this personally, why are you doing this, and then who are you doing it for, and the problem and the impact of what you're doing. It all should be told in a story so that people will feel, yes, I totally understand, I agree, that was me, or I was that child, or I was that person, and yes, I want to give. So the more it is told in a story way rather than just facts and goals and numbers, the more people will relate. And then you need to keep update, and the update should be more than just we raised this much and we still need to raise this much. It should be an additional story, an additional testimonial that you can share, an additional picture or photo that you can include. So even your updates need to be more of not just, but to continue to tell that story. And then you need to use media, you need to use social media. So if you don't know how to use it, find someone, even a relative, a friend who can help you with that. Social media helps because it's shared everywhere. And then if you're able to get a press release somewhere here and there, that also helps a lot. And then do not ignore feedback, and even especially the ones that you don't like, or the tough feedbacks that are criticizing what you're doing, because people will see that and they will see that you ignored it. So you need to be able to be on top of that and don't ignore anyone. And then before I start sharing examples, is there any questions?
I think you replied to some of them, May.
Okay.
I've been keeping up on an eye on the chat box.
Okay, good. So this is one of the campaigns that we run for Gaza Sky Gigs in Palestine, and just to show how we went viral. You can, I don't know if you know who Mark Benioff here, but he is the CEO of Salesforce, and he retweeted, and then Google for Startups retweeted, and 500 Startup is a very big accelerator here in the West Coast, and they retweeted, and just that when that happened, and David Cohen here is the one of the founders of Techstars. When they all engage, we went viral, and a lot of people started just to want to see what those people are talking about. And then this ended up being a match. So a lot of them also shared that if you donate, they will match that donation. So for every dollar raised, they will match it. And that really doubled the amount that was raised. So this is one of the ways that the power of social media, and how if you get one influencer in the community to share your campaign, then that might be the change everything for you and for your campaign. So this is one example. And then to go back to our region, even with UCR, a lot of our startups successfully raised some funding, and they use sometimes different platforms. So this is more of an equity platform. So when you give them funding, you actually get equity in their company. And this is a blue startup that is based here in Riverside, and they worked at UC at Riverside Excite, and they were able to raise a little bit over 1 million using Republic platform. This is another company that also successfully raised their goal on Republic, and you can see that, for example, for Blue, they asked for it doesn't show. So they did exceed what they asked for, because they asked for less than that, and the maximum goal was reached, and they exceeded it. And then here you can see that they only asked for $100,000, but also they exceeded the amount they asked for. This is another UCR startup that is also raised good fund, and they reached their goal on WeFunder, another platform. So you can just see that a lot of them are trying to get there. And this is another one that also exceeds what they asked for initially. And this is still an active campaign. So both those are active currently that you can check out. And then here, I think this is the final slide, is before we can answer more question, is if you decide that crowdfund campaign is for you, so you've attended this, you've done your research, and you found a lot of people that are doing similar things and successfully raising fund on those platforms, and you decided that yes, you want to do it, then you need to really do additional research, like on the platform itself. And then if you pick the platform, you need to look into campaigns on that platform, what they did right and what they are not doing right. And then you need to plan your campaign. And we'll share a lot of documents that will help you answer some strategic questions, and then a sheet that will help you track daily activities on your campaign and be able to be on top of that. And then you need to prepare your content, and that is the wording content, the videos, the pictures, even the updates. Everything needs to be prepared, because when you're running the campaign, you won't have time to prepare that update. So even your updates need to be prepared, and just change exactly how much fund you raised and that kind of information. But the update itself needs to be ready. And from today, even if you don't want to do it, start building that list of supporters, because it will come handy sometime. And Those are the documents that will be shared later. So there will be one as a strategy document that will help you strategically plan your main goals. And then you will have one to track your goals and the actual results. There will be a planning document, a project plan, some emails that will show you what you need to share in an email update, and then some updates. So this, I think, will be the documents we'll share. And that's it. So thank you so much for giving me some time to share this with you. And please let me know if you have any questions.